Personalization, I feel like, is the key to a long-term sustainable future for commerce in general.
Welcome to Honest E-commerce, where we're dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and I believe running an online business does not have to be complicated or a guessing game. If you're struggling with scaling your sales, Electric Eye is here to help. To apply to work with us, visit electriceye.io/connect to learn more. Now let's get on with the show. Do you want to deliver marketing moments that last a lifetime? Klaviyo is the ultimate marketing platform for e-commerce. With targeted segmentation, email automation, SMS marketing, and more, Klaviyo helps you create your ideal customer experience. See why Klaviyo is trusted by more than 50,000 brands like Living Proof, Solo Stove, and Huckberry. Keep your customers coming back. Get a free trial at klaviyo.com/honest. That's KLAVIYO.com/HONEST. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honest E-commerce. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and today we're welcoming to the show Ben Parr, one of the co-founders of Octane AI. You definitely have heard of them this holiday season. They just released an amazing quiz feature that I know we're going to talk about a little bit here, about how it's been helping their customers get more personalized information about them, which then allows your store owner to send out more personalized messaging in all of your cool kind of outreach things. But I'm talking a lot right now. Ben, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk all things quizzes and more.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of quizzes, and I've been definitely down the rabbit hole of personalization forever. I mean, one of the first guests I had on the podcast, are you familiar with Brennan Dunn?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been, this has been top of mind for me for forever. And heck, backstory on me, I went to his Double Your Freelancing conference 5 years ago in Norfolk, Virginia. And that set me on this whole crazy entrepreneurial tech adventure. So shout out to Brennan.
Nice. That feels like a lifetime ago. 5 years ago? I don't even know what the world was like 5 years ago. I don't even know what the world was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's true. It's been an interesting year. And now so we're recording this for everyone that's listening, probably in February, I'm going to guess. We're recording this a week after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And just now that we're starting to see the results of the campaigns for our clients and just the sales that happened, it was everything they said it would be. It was wild.
Yeah, we had a huge, we increased the amount that we drove in revenue to our customers by over 6x. And it was crazy to see. And the thing is, I think that multiplication is going to be even bigger for next year, because we only just came out with our quiz feature, and that's already driving 20 to 30% of the revenue of a lot of our customers now.
So I guess, let's start from the beginning. Let's get your backstory real quick. Let people know why they should listen to what you have to say today.
Sure. So hi, everyone. I'm Ben. I'm the president and co-founder of Octane AI. In a previous life, you may have known me as the co-editor of Mashable. I also did a whole bunch of other things, from investing to writing a book for HarperCollins called Captivology. But Octane AI is the buyer profile platform for the world of e-commerce. And so what that means is that we have a set of products, specifically our shop quiz, that help you learn about your customer and guide them through the purchase journey so that they can help get a purchase. And so it's very similar in the way of how an in-store concierge or associate helps guide you to purchase and learns about your needs and learns about the things that you have to consider and makes recommendations. And that's such a core part of retail, but it's not at all a part of e-commerce. You mostly are thrown onto a website, and it's just basically being thrown into a warehouse. And we built a shop quiz to make it so that you had that consultative experience on your site. It really is just a guided shopping experience. Quiz is almost even a limiting term, but it learns about the customer. You can build the logic, gives product recommendations, and which then these customers buy at a much higher conversion rate than your typical 1 to 2% of a Shopify store. Ours are for the shop quiz is 7 to 15%. And then now that you have this information about what they're looking for, what their size is, maybe their allergies, whatever is core to you, now you can leverage that data to personalize everything else about the customer journey. As an example, connect it to something like Klaviyo so you can personalize the email segments that you have. Or we have Messenger and SMS as apps on our platform, and you can connect those and personalize the messages that you send out on those channels too.
Yeah, that's an extremely powerful tool to kind of have in your arsenal there. And I guess I'll unpack it a little bit here. I liked your analogy of talking about how, a website, an e-commerce store these days is kind of like being thrown into a warehouse. That's pretty spot on. You don't get that concierge support of a retail associate that really understands the product selection that they have and can quickly tell what a customer is looking for in like a few exchanges, in less than a minute. They're like, you should probably take a look at this. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen in a store when they have a sales associate that's good at their job. Recreating that online is super hard. I know that they were trying, some stores and some businesses try to do it with live chat, but it's a little too, I would say, resource heavy. Like it's human capital heavy. You can't have enough people if your store is doing good traffic.
So actually, the reason we did the shop quiz is because a lot of our customers were hacking our Facebook Messenger product, the product we started out with, right? We have a Facebook Messenger platform. It does really well, prints lots of money for stores. But last year, they were all, which 2019 for everyone out there, at the end of 2019, they were all hacking it to do like a Fit Finder chatbot or a skin routine recommender chatbot or something like that. They were all hacking it. And we asked them, like, this is super interesting, but why are you doing it? Wouldn't it be better if it was part of the site itself and it was like in the website? And they said, yes, but the only options we have are either to custom build something, which is expensive, doesn't improve over time, doesn't have integrations, doesn't have a dashboard, doesn't have analytics, or use something like Typeform, which, is a form builder, great form builder, but not actually really integrated with Shopify, not built for product recommendations, not built for e-commerce, not even that really easy to update the design. It looks like a Typeform. And so we talked to our customers about this, and they had this huge problem. And we saw this like clear hole problem that our customers were having. And that's kind of like, well, this is a conversational product, right? This is like conversation on the site, really, right? We are experts at conversational marketing. And so we built a shop quiz because it is like part of the on-site conversational experience. And it does like, it's not like here's like a random chatbot that you're going to ignore. It's like, it looks and feels like part of the website, which is the way you want it to be. And yet it is a conversation. You're asking a question, it's coming back and forth. And I think that's part of why like the conversion rates of it are so high for a lot of the stores, right? Again, like the average conversion rate of a Shopify store, for example, is like under 2%, which is crazy when you think about it. That's like so much opportunity. If you could even increase it by a single point, you would be like increasing your revenue by 50% or doubling it even. And so it made like super clear sense to give this like product that can like really give the customer what they're looking for. And like the conversion rates for our quizzes are 7 to 15% plus. It's like remarkable increase. I think that's like part of one of the many things that have been like super interesting to learn since we launched the quiz earlier in 2020, I should say. See, I don't even know years anymore.
Yeah, it's all blurring together. Since 2004, Avalara's vision has been to harness the power of cloud technology to help simplify sales tax for businesses of all sizes. Avalara solutions are designed to affordably scale with businesses as they grow over time. Tax compliance is not a revenue-generating activity. So, Avalara's technology is designed to help you manage compliance as efficiently and accurately as possible so you can reclaim your valuable time and reduce risk in your business. With more than 1,000 signed partner integrations, Avalara likely integrates with the ERP, e-commerce, mobile payment, and point-of-sale systems you use today. Find out how your business can be sales tax ready at avalara.com/honest. That's avalara.com/HONEST. Avalara, tax compliance done right. So I know this is probably going to be like a question that most of the listeners are going to have, and it's part of the Shopify ecosystem is it's this app ecosystem, and one of the major drawbacks with a lot of them, unfortunately, is when you plop them in your site, it just immediately takes you out of the experience. It's like it looks like it doesn't belong. So how customizable is this for me? I've got my website's my baby. I've been working with this agency partner forever, and we built this cool, sexy, awesome thing. Like, can I make your product, this awesome recommendation engine, this quiz app, like, can I make it look and feel like it's part of my site and part of my brand?
Yes. And that's like one of the big things we focused on, which is like, one, like it automatically inherits all the fonts and themes of your website. Two, you can customize everything from like the look, the images, the like feel, the direction. And we're coming up with more and more like the minutia of customization like every single week, because the whole goal here is to make it so that it's indistinguishable from your website. It is just part of your website. It's like something that doesn't slow it down. It's just something that like makes it super easy to consistently update. So you get all the benefits of having something that is custom built. Like it looks and feels like purely custom built, have like all the like unique little like things that make your site your brand and your brand, but also have the power of like SaaS, of the power of like of integrations, of an ecosystem of apps, of dashboards, of analytics, and like actually leveraging that data to do really, really powerful things. That's kind of like, that was the whole mission of like the shop quiz in particular.
Awesome. I mean, I know that we've got this slated on our to-do list for Q1 of next year for a few of our clients, but I'm just going to pick your brain now for it because I can, and it's the power of having this podcast. I get to do these cool things. So a lot of brands out there, a lot of e-commerce brands, fashion is really easy, or it's close to what they sell and it's easy to understand that. So let's talk about a use case for a women's fashion boutique. I'm sure that's a very easy use case for a lot of people to understand. So if we were going to install a shop quiz on the store, what's the process going to be like? What are we thinking about? And how is it going to help this brand?
So the number one thing to just think about are what are the questions you need to ask? And that's like actually the hardest part. Actually putting up a quiz and like putting the elements of the design around it are actually not that hard at all. It's just the actual like logic you want to have for your quiz. Luckily for most industries, it's super clear, right? The kind of questions you ask. If you're a fashion boutique, for example, you're going to probably be asking about like, we have customers, they ask about size, they ask about color, they ask, are you buying for yourself or for somebody else? This is a really important question to ask that helps you really, segment those customers. They ask for like what kind of thing you're looking for. Some people are looking for dresses. Some people are looking for boots, whatever it might be. And then, or maybe an outfit as another example. You could actually put together an entire outfit with a shop quiz, which is another advantage. You can actually recommend a set of products and increase your AOV by doing that. And then, when you ask these questions, then it like spits out like, the sets of results that you've set up and you've designed. And so again, it really depends on your brand and on your vertical. You just have to ask yourself, what do I really want and need to know about my customer? And what do my customers consistently ask me to help make decisions? If you're in beauty, for example, a lot of it's like allergies or what kind of skin tone you have and like what kind of products you're looking for. They're very like similar. Even if you have like one product, you could still really leverage and should leverage a shop quiz. As like an example, if you have teeth whitener, you might ask questions about, do you smoke or do you drink coffee or do you do these other activities? Because that'll help actually change the copy of like the quiz so that you can give a better sales pitch. But also then now your email segments and your messaging segments can be really tailored based on, I know they have this specific issue. This is like the selling point that I need to really emphasize to have them continually buy or send it to their friends or what have you.
Yeah, that's super powerful. What do all e-commerce stores have in common? That's right, customers. And those customers are going to have questions. Gorgias is the leading e-commerce help desk with over 5,500 customers on Shopify, Magento, and BigCommerce. Their software is built with machine learning to optimize your support system and allow your team to save time and money on repetitive inquiries while still remaining personalized. What it does is take all of your customers' insights and information, brings it into their amazing dashboard so you can solve your customer's problem as quickly as possible. If you want to give Gorgias a try, visit gorgias.grsm.io/honest to get your second month free. That's gorgias.grsm.io/honest. I'm just going to guess this is on the product roadmap, but please correct me if I'm wrong. What about dynamic data to like affect the copy on the website? So using these tags. So let's say I do the quiz on a menswear site. It knows my look that I'm going for. Can I dynamically update the elements of the site in tandem with the responses of my shop quiz?
I will say stay tuned, and I will say feel free to DM me on Twitter if you're like, I really like that idea.
Everybody, we're on video, and I can see just the biggest smirk on Ben's face, but that's all we can say.
You said everything.
Yeah. So all right. So like, let's say we get this installed and we're asking the right questions, and it's like you said, it's the questions that your customers are already asking you. You can just ask them and let them self-segment. Let's talk about the coolest integration you got, right? Pushing all this data over to Klaviyo. You kind of touched on it here with tailoring the message with the smoking example. Say if you got teeth whitener, you can talk about, let's get rid of those tobacco stains on your teeth. Like you can just make that dynamic subject line be in all their emails, right? what are some other ideas for people so they can start thinking outside the box of what can I do with all this cool, powerful data I just acquired from my customer?
I think first thing, reason you're doing this is not just because it's going to increase sales, but it's actually straight up better for the customer. And I feel like a lot of products in Shopify and just in general are good for the business, but not as good for the customer. Like they help you spam a customer or something like that. This is actually one of those rare products where it's actually better for the customer. It's actually giving them help first. I need help finding something. And then the byproduct is like, it actually also helps you have a better experience every time afterwards. Because again, if I'm 18 and I have oily skin, I do not want to get the same email and I don't have the same product problems as those who are in their 30s or 40s and have dry skin. And I should be like reflecting that as a brand. In the same way that in the store, someone comes back and the person as the concierge, you're going to be like, I know exactly what you're looking for. Come over here. We don't need to go and waste time. That's kind of like like our philosophy, what we're trying to really replicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on that tangent and I'm almost forgetting the original question.
I mean,
you're like, I don't even remember either.
You know what? I forgot for a second, but I do know. The question is what are some more powerful ideas? Like you have all this data and like specifically with Klaviyo was where I was going. Cause let's be real. Klaviyo is an amazing piece of software as well.
It is. And that was the first integration for many obvious reasons for us. So I'll give a specific example here. So Joe Lashes does beautiful lashes. They have a beautiful quiz where they're asking about the kinds of lashes or what you're looking for. They even have a fun question where they ask, so they want to find out your age, but they don't ask for your age, which what they ask for is what's your favorite cartoon. And they actually learn your age because was it Sailor Moon? Was it Teen Titans Go? Depending on your favorite cartoon, you're going to be in a different age demographic. And then after that, the question that actually to the Klaviyo piece, they asked this other question that didn't think much about, which was like, how often are you using lashes? And what they found out was the number one segment was actually people who had used lashes, never used lashes before. It was their first time. And they were super shocked by this because they thought their customers were all experts. It's one of the many insights that they learned from their quiz that you wouldn't get otherwise. So they learned this thing about their customers and they're like, holy crap, we need to do something about this. And so they built out a whole Klaviyo segment of educating the customers in the specific segment on lashes, on how to use them, on the benefits, all sorts of things. And that really helped upgrade and transform their business. And so that's one of many examples. You can imagine, you can send a blast that's based on they're in these different buyer profiles, but you could use that information for more detailed education, or you can even use that for specific kinds of follow-ups because you could combine that data with how often have they bought. You might be able to say you're a VIP and you can have these special perks. We know that you're looking for this kind of thing, or we can give you a discount on this specific product. So there's a bunch of different examples. The Doe Lashes one just always sticks to mind because it's something that they didn't know before. Then they learned it, and then they could use the Klaviyo integration to do something that was actually really also beneficial to the customer, which is education.
Oh yeah, the second you said that all their customers were new customers and kind of first timers, I was like, they absolutely built just some amazing educational welcome series. That probably just printed money for them at that point.
Oh yeah, tons. They print money. I think somewhere between 30 to 40% of the emails they collect is from the quiz. They 3x their email collection using the shop quiz because people are much more likely to opt in because they want to have the results and they've gone through the whole thing. And you don't even have to go and offer a giant discount to get the quiz, which is what most pop-ups do. This instead is just I'm going to give you a value, put in your email, and they are very willing to do it.
Nobody likes insurance, but everybody should have it. Mistakes do happen. Our partner Rewind can protect your Shopify store with automated backups of your most important data. Rewind should be the first app you install to protect your store against human error, misbehaving apps, or collaborators gone bad. It's like having your very own magic undo button. Trusted by over 70,000 businesses from side hustles to the biggest online retailers like Gymshark, Gatorade, and Movement Watches. Best of all, respond to any of their welcome emails and mention Honest E-commerce to get your first month absolutely free. No, yeah, that was my next question. What a great segue is. Let's talk about the benefits of using a fit finder or a style finder. It's essentially what these quizzes are. It can be anything like that. You're just acquiring information about your customer. What is the lift on opt-ins for new email subscribers using something like that versus your traditional pop-up?
It depends. Also, we have a couple examples. The most extreme example, and this is not going to be what most brands have, Bariatric Fusion with their shop quiz. they increased their opt-ins by 16x compared to their pop-ups before. Like a remarkable increase in the opt-ins that they received. Dual Lashes was 3x. We see multiple increases oftentimes. But like even a 10% or 20% would have a giant impact on your business. But if you're promoting, like the big thing is if your quiz is front and center, you promote it's part of your homepage or you're linking to it from your top nav, a lot of people are going to just give you their emails or their phone numbers or their messenger IDs, all of which we support. And you're going to be able to automatically do those follow-ups. You're going to be able to sync those emails to Klaviyo or send those text messages or those Facebook messages through us or do whatever else you want to do with that data.
Yeah, I mean, my wheels are spinning on this conversation. Like, I'm excited to dive in and help some of our clients with this. At the end of the day, it goes back to kind of like marketing and advertising basics. It's like the more spot on the information that you present to your customer is about their unique situation, the higher the return's going to be, the higher, the response rate. If you're talking about direct marketing, it's like the more in tune your message can be to your customer, it's going to help sales. But we just can't overlook the fact that your customer's also having a better experience because they're like, wow, this brand gets me.
Yeah, it's just about helping the customer. And if you do that first, it's going to drive exponential returns. And I think we thought about like what's going to actually be really good for the end customer because that ends up being really good for the store.
Absolutely. Well, we kind of touched on it briefly before, but like, is there anything else on the horizon that people should be looking out for with kind of personalization and the integrations that you guys are offering?
I think, think of like, we have a suite of products that work together and help each other, like our Messenger and our SMS and our like, obviously the quiz being the key one. And they're helping you either like collect this buyer profile data or leverage it. Everything we're doing moving forward is in those kind of buckets, whether it's products that we build to help deepen the personalization or products that help you build this buyer profile database or integrations that help you leverage this data on the other tools that you use. Like Klaviyo is just the beginning of a lot of other integrations that we have coming out in the near future. And so it's just like, it's crazy because the quiz product has had like some kind of like a crazy response. It's already like our number one product. Like we like almost tripled in size like this year alone, actually like in the last like 6-7 months. And it's because like the quiz has been like clearly people were looking for something like this.
It's been needed in this marketplace so long. And I guess, I just want to caveat to all our listeners here. Like this isn't like a paid thing. Like I had been on because this feature will help your business and they're pioneering it in this Shopify ecosystem and it works. I played with the product. I know it works. I'm not out here trying to help recommend bad things or anything. Like, it just works. It's one of those things. And, if you've got existing customer base or you're trying to grow your email opt-ins or there are questions your customers always have, this is a great plug and play opportunity to kind of help your store out. But it's one of those things like, at the end of the day, it's just a tool. You got to go into it with a strategy. You got to have a plan. So, it might mean that you need to have some people help you out.
I mean, yeah, it's exactly that. It's just as simple as like go and do it and then get results. If there's no results, then don't do it. But it's one of those things where like the results are super clear. That's like a nice thing. But I mean, the overall is anything that's going to like help your end customer is going to be a win for you. And the more it can be personally branded, the better. And I know all I know is like Matt and I, my co-founder, CEO Matt and I like made this like bet on the shop quiz like end of 2019 when we decided to start building this thing. And we spent like 6+ months in engineering and things to build it. And it's crazy to see like I almost have to say we were right, but like it was something that there was real demand for. And I think I underestimated the demand.
Yeah, and it definitely played a key part in a lot of people's Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns, and it's going to help people grow their businesses moving into 2021. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you guys. I believe I met you like 4 or 5 years ago at Unite, so it's been great to watch you guys' business grow in this ecosystem. Man, I miss Unite.
Oh my goodness, that was like I remember our first Unite. And we had just launched our Shopify integration. And we were just like, it was the first time we ever met Klaviyo. It was the first time we ever met like any agencies. And we were just kind of like these like babe in the woods being like, what's going on? There's all this stuff happening. And I look forward to when there is an actual in-person Unite. I hope I hope in 2021, maybe it's not till 2022, to be honest. Just as like, it's such a different thing now, like I'm like talking with like the next generation of agencies and apps, and there's so many cool things happening in the ecosystem. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it on this podcast all the time, especially when I'm talking to other apps and like other agency owners. Just like, this ecosystem is so much fun. E-commerce is just a fun place to be in, and there's no silver lining to kind of the situation that we endured this year with the pandemic. But the adoption of e-commerce and it just thrusting forward so much market penetration of things going to e-commerce is just made our industry explode. It's like there's so much cool stuff happening. So many more smart people are now in the space, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's tons of fun. I'm excited. Like, yeah. Oh my God. Like the ecosystem, it's crazy. Just like how much bigger the ecosystem is in like 2 years' time alone, and then how much bigger it's going to be in the next 2 years. E-commerce is booming. I'm looking forward to when everything like there's retail and we can have those elements. And I think there's some cool things we can even do there. But I'm just like excited by the ecosystem and the super awesome entrepreneurs and just like all the growth that I've seen this year, like despite really hard times and a lot of people like fighting to overcome it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned before how people can get a hold of you, but just one more time, if people are curious about the product or they want to ask you a question, what's the best way to reach out and get a hold of everybody?
Yeah. So at Octane AI, Octane AI on every social network and octaneai.com. So you can just go there, request a demo, or just go and straight up download our Shopify app if you want to just go and get started. And then I'm just at Ben Parr, BenParr. And I will say my DMs are open on Twitter, so feel free to send me a DM. But I'm at Ben Parr on literally every single social network you can think of.
Absolutely. Is there anything I forgot to ask you today that you want to leave with our audience?
No, just personalization, I feel like, is the key to a long-term sustainable future for commerce in general. And building a better, more personalized experience for every customer is going to be like the default in the next couple of years. And so the number one thing to be doing now is to be collecting the data to like actually do the personalization. That's why like you want to like be launching your quiz now, and like you want to be collecting this data so that you can leverage it for the future, because your competition, other stores, they're starting to do this now. They're starting to collect this data, and every day they're collecting that data, they're gaining an advantage.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Ben, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I cannot thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their journey and knowledge with us today. We've got a lot to think about and potentially add into our businesses. Links and more information will be available in the show notes as well. If anything in this podcast resonated with you and your business, feel free to reach out and learn more at electriceye.io/connect. Also, make sure you subscribe and leave an amazing review. Thank you.